I am Kayla Braun. Hayes is my 15-month-old son. He was born at 37 weeks, 11 pounds. He was born with HIE, which is a brain injury. They didn't know how bad it was going to be. They really just didn't know at that point. All we knew is that he wasn't eating the way he needed to be eating. I can remember just sitting in Hayes' room trying to get him to eat and just crying because it's like, where do you go? What do? You just want your baby to eat and he's not. Sorry.
Baby Hayes was born at full term, but he developed GI consequences and neurological consequences because he suffered from brain injury based on the MRI findings. And he also has the seizures. And when it came to feeding, he was not able to tolerate anything even by tube feeding. And therefore, he was at big risk for chronic feeding difficulties.
With Hayes' brain injury and the portion that was affected, it ultimately causes muscle weakness. So ultimately his brain was making his esophagus weak and not doing what it was supposed to do. It wasn't telling him like suck, swallow. So he had to learn that. He had to reroute his brain to learn how to do that because it wasn't automatic for him at that point.
He was one of those babies who really, everyone thought he was going to get a G-tube and surgical procedures. And therefore, he was referred to our program for evaluation to see what we can do to see if we can make some difference.
We're very thankful for Dr. J with him using the word hope. That's literally what we went by, because sometimes it felt like there was no hope. When he explained the G-tube, we're like, okay, but why? And he's like, well, his esophagus muscles aren't strong, so he's not going to be able to feed through his mouth. It's probably going to be a G-tube and like to feed through his stomach because that's going to be his only way. But Dr. J was very hopeful and he used the word hope a lot. And he's like, you have to practice, practice, practice and make him take those bottles because that's the only way that muscle is going to strengthen is if he's swallowing. If he's not swallowing and they're just tubing it, then he's never going to get strong.
And slowly we build the food entry into the stomach in such a way that the stomach develops the skills to contract and distend, contract and distend. Then we slowly developed feeding into the stomach to retrain the stomach to function as it should, meaning hold the milk and then empty the milk. Essentially, we retrained his stomach. We retrained his stomach communication with food pipe, the airway, oral cavity, and the brain. And therefore, this wiring, neurological wiring, the reflexes are all developing. This is called neuroplasticity. So this neuroplasticity, if done properly, meticulously, with a lot of attention to detail, we can achieve wonders.
That's exactly how he kind of explained it to us is, that brain works in weird ways. They can create new pathways in their brain to help them learn how to do things. From one study to the other were completely different. I mean, everything was different. You could see where his muscles were actually working. Compared to the first one, it was just like a blank line. And then like the second study, you could actually see where it was like contracting. And Dr. J was like, I'm so proud of him. He was so excited to see that Hayes had put in the work to get to that point, to be able to go home. And then Dr. J's like, I think we can officially say he doesn't have to go home without a G-tube.
Eventually, he successfully passed the oral feeding challenge without needing any tube, and he went home without any tube in 3 weeks' time.
Fast forward to when we got home, it took us probably another 3 months at home to get him to fully be eating, like without having to worry about going to the doctor. And now he eats like a champ. He has no issues with eating at all, as much as it took for us getting through the NICU to now. It's crazy to think that potentially he could have had a G-tube and now he's fine.